Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the business and the silly editions. Just a friendly reminder, we will not be doing a live show next week, which is going to be Friday, July 16th, but we should probably be back the next week. I will let you know the following week if we will be back or not. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into the business news. First and foremost, Link & Co. will make you rethink outdated ideas of car ownership. This is what I hate about this liberal and progressive left-wing media crap. We're going to make you rethink the outdated modes of owning your car. What, like me buying a car and owning it? If you think that's an outdated model of owning a car, you're a moron, okay? What's their new model? Their new model is you go out and lease the car from us, so you never really own it. You pay exorbitant amounts of fees, and then if you let other random strangers into your car throughout the day when it's just sitting there doing nothing anyway, we'll lower your payment and give you a few little carrots. Does that sound like a plan? You know what, guys? I don't know if you're aware of this. Like, I'm in, Pennsylvania. We have this thing in Pennsylvania called Castle Doctrine. I know it's a little controversial, but it means if some morons breaking into my house, I have the right to, put them down a little bit. And then call a paddy wagon. Well, that same law extends to vehicles. Why? Because vehicles are an extension of ourselves, are an extension of our homes and things like that. I don't want some random bum coming in and sleeping on my couch when I'm at work. I mean, look at this unutilized space in my house. Let's just open up the doors and let the bums in there all during the day. The same thing's going on with your cars. So over in EU, people are a little bit more friendly to this. I mean, the idea is, come on, guys. We buy our car, we just drive it a little bit, and then it just sits there. Yeah, when it's sitting there, it's not getting wear and tear. It's lasting longer. You don't have another risk of it crashing. You don't have a risk of somebody stealing it. You don't have somebody else doing weird things in your car. Okay, I get the van, I'm doing an audit of all the systems. I tear out the electrical box, start looking what's in there. There's a package of mayonnaise jammed up in the car. Okay, I think that it was a rental car before I bought it. Okay, you don't put a package of mayonnaise, you don't accidentally get a package of mayonnaise put up into an electrical box. Someone had to intentionally cram it up there. That's the type of stuff that happens when weird random strangers are using your car because it's sitting unutilized while I'm at work all day. What is this nonsense? And then here The Verge, we're going to make you rethink outdated ideas of car ownership. Like, owning a car and locking it and keeping riffraff out. My Lord, guys. My Lord. So they spawned this position here. They got the 01 plug-in hybrid compact SVU built for the ground up to share. The more you share its digital key, the less you pay each month, possibly even turning a profit. Like, okay, let's dive battle the other myth here. It costs so much to get a car. You should just let somebody else and use our Lyft and Uber services for your cars. Like, so expensive for the car. Guys, my last car, I bought it 12 years ago for $6,000. I put very minimal maintenance into it. I did all the oil changes, all the regular routine type stuff, drove the thing 150,000 miles, turned around and sold it 12 years later for $1,500. You want to tell me exactly where the expense was? Yeah, we figured that down. It was like 10 cents a mile or something insane like that. But when you're, going out and buying the most expensive fancy thing so you can have the status symbol for the guy next to you in the stoplight, oh, yeah, look at me. Just don't ask to see my bank account, yo. And then you're paying all this money and they're not even assuming you ever own this thing. This is just a lease. This is just a lease. That your lease payment goes down when you let random riffraff drive your car when you're at work. No, I'll keep my outdated mode of car ownership if you don't mind. Just saying. I don't know. Well, in our privacy section, we talked about TikTok now doing resumes. Well, they are actually starting to sell tons of the services that were built on you feeding them data. Like, we're like, they was like giving you all these things like feed, feeder pellet. And then they were using all this data you're giving to them. And then all this data you're giving to them. All right. They're turning around and making these crazy, weird AI products And as they are doing such things, now they are starting to roll out these services. So ByteDance is now selling the video apps AI to other clients. So now the artificial intelligence involved in TikTok is going to be outsourced to tons and tons of extra apps. TikTok, a Chinese company with Chinese government in deep, now outsourcing their information to other applications. Guys, anybody using their stuff is going to be feeding all of that data back to China. That's right. That's right. That's right, guys. We've got to stop. But you didn't listen to me. You didn't say, oh, we should stay away from that TikTok. You gave them the data. You let this happen. Good luck getting that monster back in the bag. Welcome to Dystopia. People are now getting fired from Amazon by an app. This isn't just, okay, a communications app you are told over your app. No. They have literally just handed, for some of the contract positions, all of the responsibility on hiring and firing, who stays and who goes, to an artificial AI app that simply declares, you're done working here now. Get out, pleb. So what they have is they have the app that will monitor your delivery speed. It monitors, all sorts of different things that, frankly, you may not have any control over. And then it will analyze you and then put everybody on a curve. And whoever at the end of the month is on the lower end of that curve, bye-bye. No appeal, just you're out of here. You're the lowest curve on the performers. So it's kind of like that old adage, if you and your friend are hiking in the woods and you encounter a bear, you don't have to outrun the bear. You just need to outrun your friend. Okay? That's all you need to do. You just need to outrun your friend. So that's the thing, is the employees are getting on. They've handed all of the HR to the app. The AI says this guy goes, this guy goes. Nothing about it. Nothing about it. I wish I could find the exact quotes in here. I didn't mark down where they are. Robots not used to place a lower tier of underpaid and undervalued workers. They're here to smugly fit into the middle, monitoring and surveillance, hiring and firing. Amazon has recently replaced its middle management and human resource workers with artificial intelligence to determine when a worker has outlived their usefulness and needs to be let go. There is no human to appeal to, no negotiating with a bot. This is the most boring possible Terminator sequel where robots aren't here to murder or enslave you, but rather to text you snidely that you won't need to come into work tomorrow or ever again. So in the article, which is very interesting, it goes in and talks about people that are like, I'm just trying to get the delivery done, but I can't. There's a traffic jam. There's like an accident up ahead of me and the police have the road closed for 10 minutes. I can't get anywhere. The app is reporting back that I'm not doing my job. I'm taking an unauthorized break. People are saying I'm dehydrating myself intentionally because it's pee in the bucket in your van or not at all. And you got that kind of stuff going on, and it's crazy. It's crazy. So this paragraph down here is interesting. Desperation is key when human beings are uncertain about why things are happening to them or feel general loss of control over their outcomes, their own actions, or say because they're doing their job to the best of their ability and are suddenly mysteriously fired. It causes anxiety and desperation. Makes superstitious pigeons out of all of us, flapping our wings wildly in the hopes we can recreate the conditions that once got us rewarded. This is dystopian, guys. This is absolutely crazy dystopian. And on to our feature story. Never mind PayPal. Step over. Chime is here. So Chime is another one of these neobanks. And if you look up this company, it's hilarious because they have all this banking stuff. I forgot to look it up. We'll look it up here in a minute if we don't have a direct link. All over, it's all banking. Really small text on the front page. We're not a bank. It's like PayPal. They issue a debit card, you give them your money there and all this, but they're just as dystopian as PayPal is. One day, for no reason whatsoever, no explanation, just a vague TOS. Whoa! There's like, sorry, we've determined you can't do business with us anymore. What about my $10,000? Sorry, it's ours. What? And so ProPublica brings us, a banking app has been suddenly closing accounts and sometimes not even returning customers' monies. Chime, a neobank, and this is why we need serious regulation on these things. I think Chime, PayPal, these types of services need hyper-regulated. regulate them out of business. I'm okay with that. All right. They need more regulation than banks. So they're racking up complaints from users who can't access their cash. The company says it's cracked down on an extraordinary surge in fraudulent deposits. That's little consolation to customers caught in the fray. The day after Jonathan Moreira's federal stimulus payment landed in his bank account, he took his 5-year-old twins out for lunch at an Applebee's near where he lives in New Jersey. He went to pay his only means of payment, a debit card issued by the hot financial technology startup Chime. It was declined. He didn't understand. He checked his account earlier in that day and saw a balance of nearly $10,000. A mental note, guys, don't store $10,000 in a random app like PayPal. With the Applebee's server standing next to him, he quickly pulled out his phone to check his Chime app. He had hundreds of times since he signed up in January. He couldn't log in. He checked his email, found a message that read, this is exactly word for word the message I got from PayPal. We regret to inform you that we have made the decision to end our relationship with you at this time. Your spending account will be closed. Except on PayPal, I can't actually close the account. They've just blocked access to it. He had no choice but to call his parents and have them pay the lunch bill. I was so embarrassed, he said. I am a grown man and I was tearing up and everything. Speaking of $10,000, he was suddenly locked out of. He added, if it was $100, I wouldn't sweat it, but it's everything I had for my kids. So this is a problem, guys, that these companies, it's vague. It's vague. This is hilarious. So we got a vague TOS warning on the Discord server. Completely vague. Had nothing to do with anything. This or this or this or this or this. No way to reply. No way to contact them. No way to appeal it that you can tell. I used the contact form on the site to say, hey, I got a vague TOS service. Their reply back to me is, I don't know. We can't look into it for you. Okay, we just won't do anything. If the Discord server disappears, it disappears. I don't really care. What? I mean, really. But this is Chime, though. These are the things they're doing. This is the regulation we need. Big tech cannot be blanket, vague TOS. They've got to bring absolute 100% explicit, very, very specific. This is what was said. This is what we said. I mean, we know they have all this data. So let's go ahead and look this company up now. I just spelled it wrong, though. Chime is called Chime. And this is the company you avoid. Chime, banking that has your back. Free overdraft protection. Get paid 2 days early with direct deposit. Build credit history. No interest or annual fees with credit builder. Grow your savings. Overdraft fee. Get paid early. Say goodbye to hidden fees. A new way to build credit. Pay free all the time. Okay, you get all this kind of stuff. And if you look up here, right here, it's the part that's highlighted. It says, Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services provided by Bancorp or Stride Bank NA members FDIC. So, basically what should happen is this guy who has $10,000, he needs to go to whichever one of these banks it is and say, you're giving me all of the cash. You're giving to me in a cashier's check right this second, period. And he's got to go and sue them for everything that he can if they don't do that. Because there is no earthly reason that this service can come in here and be like PayPal. We just decided to stop doing business. Why? Because we're just going to hold your $10,000. Really, the reason is you got $10,000 and we really want to invest that. So we're going to lock it up for several months. You can't have it. So screw you, Chime. Everybody, stay as far away from Chime as you possibly can. But if you want some companies you shouldn't stay away from, I do have several affiliates. TLM.li/A2H is where I recommend hosting. So A2 hosting is where I held a lot of client hosting and my private emails for a long time. I had to move to a larger service now because of the number of clients I have. But nevertheless, I still highly recommend A2 hosting. And if you use the affiliate link, that will help support the channel. You can get everything from very simple shared hosting, startup shared, there's turbo boosted, there's unmanaged VPSs, managed VPSs, dedicated servers, just all sorts of good stuff over on A2 hosting. You can run your own email, you can build your own website, you can host your Nextcloud over there. That's what I did for a long time. Anyway, have a look over there, tlm.li/A2H. Now, guys, let's head to Sillyville. So first up in Sillyville, Facebook accidentally lost a piece of its moderation policy for 3 years. Like, wait, what? That's right. So they had an exception to a ban supporting dangerous entities. So anybody that Facebook deems dangerous, you know, Orange Man Bad or whoever this dude is. I think they have a name of him, whatever this guy's name is. Fortunately, I can't pronounce his name because, you know, I won't have to say it. This dude, apparently he's deemed as a dangerous threat to all humanity, just like Orange Man Bad. And so they have a policy that you can't talk about Orange Man Bad because, you know, it's just promoting hate and intolerance and danger and violence. And so you got to remove it. And the problem is people are saying, hey, they removed my post about this dangerous political leader here, this Kurdish political leader. And I don't know why they deleted the post. So the independent Facebook board looked at it and then they found the policy was missing 3 years. Like, oh, we're sorry. We were missing a component. You're allowed to talk about this person if you're talking about their torture. Kid you not, guys. Kid you not. Facebook designates Ocean as a dangerous entity that users cannot support on platforms. In January, moderators applied that policy to a message criticizing his imprisonment in solitary confinement, a practice the United Nations has deemed a form of torture. The user appealed the oversight board, which agreed to examine the case. As it did, Facebook apparently, quote, found the piece of internal guidance on dangerous individuals and organizations as policy was inadvertently not transferred to a new review system in 2018. Policy had been developed in 2017, partly because of debate over Osan's living conditions, and it allows discussions on conditions of confinement for individuals designated as dangerous, but the internal guidance was never made public to Facebook or Instagram users, and Facebook only realized it had dropped out the moderation guidelines. So in other words, if you talk about this guy and support him on the platform, you're banned. You talk about his torture, that's okay. Had the board not called for the selected this case review, the guidance would have remained unknown to current moderators. A significant amount of expression in the public interest would have been removed, it states. Facebook declined to comment further on what it considers its assessment accurate. So there you have it, guys. Facebook, you can't talk about certain dangerous individuals, but you can talk about their torture. Way to go, Facebook. Way to go. And on to our feature article today. Police ticketed a driver for sticking a Starlink terminal on the car's hood. The funny thing is, I don't even think this would work. I looked into putting Starlink dish on my hood. It turns out that Starlink dishes, at least at the time I looked at them, which was not ultra long time ago, actually are geofenced. Your dish will not go outside of a radius that is designated as your home. So I'm not sure how this person or if this person was getting internet, but on top of that, this person does need to lose the Darwin Awards and crash off a cliff or something, because who in the world puts a giant thing like that on the hood of their car? This isn't the back. This isn't the trunk. This is the very, very tippy top. This is on the front of the car. This thing over here is the driver's windshield. These are the windshield wipers. This giant pizza-sized dish is in there obstructing view. The officer says, does that obstruct your view? Only when I make a right-hand turn. Huh? So, yeah, the California Highway Patrol officer stopped the Toyota Prius on Friday. What it looked like a Starlink dish fashioned to the hood. The agency said in a Facebook post, the visual obstruction sitting right smack in the middle of the car's hood landed the driver a ticket. Sir, I stopped you today for having that visual obstruction on your hood. Does it not block your view while driving? An officer said. The driver replied, only when I make right-hand turns. Driver told CHP officer they were using the antenna to have Wi-Fi for business. They run out of their car. Guys, in a couple days here, or a couple weeks maybe, sometime soon, I'll show you how you get good mobile internet without obstructing your hood of your car, okay? I'll tell you how to do it, and it works well. Yes, it is in fact illegal to mount a satellite dish on the hood of your vehicle. They wrote, it is about safety, folks. These are real stories of Highway Patrol safety. Starbucks. I need some coffee, guys. Starbucks says Starlink says the antenna is for high bandwidth, low latency sort of thing. It's about the size of a medium pizza, which you could put on a car, but it's more bandwidth than you would really need, he said. Technically, you could buy one and just stick it on the car. Now, let's go ahead and clarify this before I get a lot in the comments. Starlink, as of now, this was released only as about a month or so ago. They are now experimenting with a mobile version of Starlink. It is something I want to look into. The biggest reason I have not looked into it yet super seriously is because in their initial releases, they want to control where exactly that goes, and they want to manage the install, and having a custom office as I have, I'm a little leery about that. But it's something I want to look at in the near future. That being said, however, your typical home-based Starlink, according to them, is geofenced to your location, so you can't take your dish too far out. According to what Starlink says, if this person's antenna on the hood of the car works, cool, maybe I'll get an antenna and put it on the hood of my mobile office. So with that, guys, there is our silly veil. You can help support us over on Patreon, patreon.com/TOMM. That is TOMM. With that, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you sometime soon. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.